Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Roig-Francolí, and I'm here for day 4 of our book reading and review marathon going through December, preparing for the public launch of my book, Make Great Music with Ease, The Secret to Smarter Practice, Confident Performance, and Living a Happier Life, which is, of course, the most important thing that we all want. I think we can all agree on that, right? If you're here or watching the replay, I would love to know that you're here. So if you can just say something in the comments, drop some emojis, just do something in the comments. I see already that some people are showing up, and I'm so happy to have you here. I'm going to be reading from chapter 3 today, which is about living on purpose. Is your reality living up to your dreams? And just as a very, very quick introduction, some of you may not have been following this marathon, but basically I'm coming on here every few days to read from this book and to encourage you to just take a few minutes, and I'll talk about it more at the end, just take a few minutes to hop over to Amazon using the link in this post, and it'll only take you a few minutes to review the book. I'd be so grateful. And if you want a free PDF copy, review copy in exchange for the review, I'm happy to give you a free book. Just reach out and let me know. Okay, so here we go. Let's dive in. It's a very sunny day. I don't know if you can tell, but my face is all lit up here. And I think I'm going to use my reading glasses again. Sorry about the glare, but it helps me see. So here we go. Chapter 3, Living on Purpose. Is your reality living up to your dreams? Here's a quote from C.S. Lewis. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. We musicians are idealists, dreamers, lovers, romantics, traditionalists, iconoclasts, and everything else under the sun. And by the way, if when I'm reading you agree with anything, that's a good opportunity for you to do a thumbs up emoji or something like that, or a heart, whatever. Just interact with me a little bit, because I can see the things popping up. I really appreciate it. Or, you know, if you resonate with something, tell us a little bit about your perspective in the comments. A lot of this stuff, I mean, it's all from my experience as a musician and also working with tons of other musicians. So the hope is that everything in the book is relatable, but if something speaks to you in particular, I would love to hear about it. And I'm sure it could be helpful for others too. So go ahead and use the comments. It'd be great. Okay, moving on. We are human beings whose souls have become enraptured by the ever-changing and infinite variety of shapes, colors, and waves of meaning carried to us on the wings of sound. Our music reflects the entire capacity and richness of the human experience in all its divine glory, as well as its darkest, lowest misery. When we chose to become musicians, or music found us, it was because we knew in our hearts that there is no better or more beautiful way to connect and share the very depths of who we are. We live music, breathe music, and risk other parts of our lives and our well-being to pour it all out to the world. Every day, we bare our souls and express ourselves as profoundly as we can. If you are like most professional musicians, like myself, you've probably spent thousands of hours, maybe an entire lifetime devoted to your art. You may have invested tens of thousands of dollars on teachers, university degrees, instruments, equipment, and travel, foregoing thousands of hours of leisure time, saying no to endless social activities, holing up alone in a practice room instead. Anybody out there ever do that? You've set yourself apart from your neighbors, peers, and loved ones so you can somehow achieve your goal of transforming your musical ideas into magical sounds and your lifelong dreams into reality. So after all these years of passionate dedication and sacrifice, if things still aren't working out, it's no wonder if sometimes you feel desperate for things to finally change for the better, if not a little disillusioned. It's easy to feel disappointed when the big dreams you had when you were younger turn out to seem unachievable. This inner restlessness is a big reason why the majority of musicians experience physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual suffering over their art. Here are some of the frustrating situations you might be encountering, and hopefully none of them. If you're here watching and listening, hopefully you're just totally fine and you're not suffering. But here are some very common situations that musicians do have to go through from time to time. Maybe your playing still doesn't accurately reflect the music you hear in your mind. You're unable to play the music that challenges you most because your technique is stuck at a certain level. And no matter how much or how hard you practice, you just can't break through. That happened to me long ago. Even though you feel musical passion in your heart, you can't communicate it freely and fearlessly. Your career isn't as satisfying as you thought it would be, and you see few options for advancement. You don't receive the recognition you deserve because someone ahead of or better than you ends up in the limelight instead. Audiences, families, and communities don't seem to truly appreciate the value of what you're offering. On the other hand, you might be so used to life falling short of your expectations that you've accepted this as your reality. And perhaps you decided long ago to settle for the status quo as more comfortable than endless striving on a futile path. Of course, if you're happy, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you have a niggling suspicion that you aren't truly fulfilling your potential, and deep down you just know you could be enjoying your life more and making better music with more ease and under better conditions, then you might be harboring little whispers under the surface with questions like, is this it? Is this all there is? Am I really stuck with this lifestyle forever? What did I do wrong? Am I just not as naturally talented as others, or am I just unlucky? Why do I still feel like I'm not good enough? Do I just need to practice more and work harder? What am I missing? If you're having doubts and worries like these about your self-worth and your abilities as a musician, or you're feeling down about the musical profession as a whole, please know that you are not alone. These thoughts are common. I've played with dozens of orchestras and ensembles, and I've talked and worked with hundreds of musicians, both as colleagues and as my students. Again and again, I've seen these kinds of doubts alive in almost all musicians to some degree or another. But most hide them, even from themselves, because it can be really hard to face the truth that you're not perfectly satisfied with your life and you wish so much things were better. These thoughts come up to poke you from time to time, to keep you from languishing in complacency or digging your heels in deeper, to remind you that there actually is more for you to achieve and enjoy. Uncomfortable emotions are there to spur you on to make positive changes. As unsettling as these thoughts and feelings are, it's really healthy to look difficulties in the eye. And you are listening to this book for a reason. The truth is, most musicians are not living up to their full artistic potential. And everyone can always improve, no matter where they are in life and no matter their musical skill level. As the great Spanish cellist Pablo Casals said when he was asked at 67, again at 80, and perhaps later, why he kept practicing, he said, because I think I'm making progress. What you need to remember is that despite the whispers of your doubt monsters, if you're not making the progress you'd like and your life isn't shaping up as planned, it's not because there's something wrong with you. And it's not because you're lazy, untalented, unlucky, or stupid. Your sense of lack or deficiency comes from a deep disconnection from your true purpose and a lack of awareness of who you really are. You haven't yet learned how to fully enjoy yourself and your music. The good news is you can always start over and learn how right now. There's a lot of talk about how happiness is a choice, and I agree, even though it can seem totally impossible to be happy under certain circumstances. If I ever begin to doubt this, I'm always reminded of Viktor Frankl, the Jewish-American psychologist known for founding the third school of Viennese psychotherapy, following after the first school of Freud and the second of Alfred Adler. But Frankl's theory came out of his experience in a concentration camp. He came to the conviction that we are each mainly motivated by a search for meaning in life, a search that, he believed, psychotherapy should be focused on helping us find. Frankl's trials from the Nazis were many and extreme. Some of what he had to endure included his wife being forced to abort her child, his father dying in a concentration camp, his being transported along with his wife and mother to Auschwitz, being forced to throw away his unpublished manuscript, catching typhoid fever, and keeping himself awake to prevent delirium and a fatal vascular collapse by piecing his manuscript back together on bits of paper he found and a companion stole for him from the Dachau office. Through self-discipline and extreme vigilance over his thoughts, he was able to uplift his own spirits and the spirits of everyone around him, so they could rise above the horror of their external conditions despite all odds. Read the autobiographical Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl for an amazing story if you have not read this yet. Very, very inspiring. The big lesson here is that if you want to be happy, prioritize happiness. Do what it takes to realize it. To me, this means happiness is not only a choice, but also a skill that needs conscious practice to experience it more and more. To me, choosing to live life consciously, on purpose, is a prerequisite to happiness and the key to creating more successful experiences for yourself. In my coaching programs, I explore the idea of purpose with my students. I challenge them to probe into what they truly want. By learning to ask questions and wonder in a way that doesn't demand instant answers, and by practicing specific awareness skills, they learn how to focus their energies efficiently and effectively. They then make noticeable, quicker progress towards the purpose they've uncovered. When they begin to appreciate how their new direction is influencing the choices they're making in music, frustration wanes. It comes up less and less often as happiness starts to shine again in the practice room and on stage. I'm going to skip just a little bit here. Okay. Unconscious beliefs drive your experience of success and self-esteem. Musicians on the whole are very familiar with the concepts of sacrifice, hard work, and suffering. How many of the following expressions did you grow up with? And I'd love to hear in the comments if these are things you've ever thought for yourself or ever heard or been told. Here's a list. No pain, no gain. You need to suffer for your art. Starving artist. Musicians are poor. Music isn't a real job. You shouldn't make music for the money. I remember when I was hired as an extra violinist for the renowned Cincinnati Pops Orchestra one summer. A neighbor of mine naively asked with a casual, quizzical look, "Do you get paid for that?" Sigh. The problem with growing up in a culture that takes music for granted, just walk into a restaurant where a quite good, unpaid guitarist is gigging for tips and doesn't value its musicians. At the time I'm writing this book, recording artists like myself earn a whopping $0.003 to $0.005. That's much less than 1 cent on average every time their music is streamed on Spotify. The problem is that our subconscious has been insidiously programmed to blindly accept that popular stereotypes about musicians are actually true. Not only does this hurt our individual self-concept and work against us in achieving our professional and financial goals, but it subtly affects our overall well-being and the quality of our music too. If you've been programmed since childhood to believe that your identity as a musician means you have to suffer, work hard, practice long hours, sometimes until fingers bleed. I'm not exaggerating because I've had students tell me that sometimes, thankfully not very often, but there are people who sometimes practice until their fingers bleed. Sacrifice friendships, fun, and family activities. Earn less money than others who have more commonly valued jobs. Go without luxuries or even starve if necessary, just to prove your worth as an artist. Well, then you've been hoodwinked. Unless you decide to question these beliefs and radically shift your perspective to claim your self-worth independently of what others think, you're setting yourself up for a less than fulfilling, imbalanced life and a painful future. Unfortunately, a fixed attitude that prizes intensity, hyperfocus, and self-sacrifice, maximizing those to the detriment of natural ease, joy, and well-being, will unwittingly sabotage the quality of your music because you will find it hard to fully enjoy practicing and performing. It might be hard to detect this chain of events within you because your brain is designed to give you an experience of life that is consistent with your unconscious beliefs. So you will keep finding proof that an attitude of hard work and suffering is necessary to become an exceptional artist. And I give some examples like the painter Vincent van Gogh, we have Beethoven, Herman Melville, the author of Moby Dick. But anyway, this is not the point. If you win, actually I'm going to skip a little more here and then finish up with this other section here. Okay, new section title, Is Your Life Balanced? Do you have enough time for what's important? One of the biggest indicators that your life is out of balance is that you frequently feel like you don't have enough time. I'm just going to pause here for a second. Again, I'm going to encourage you to use the comments below, and I may just not be able to see them, but I'm not seeing any comments right now. But I always go back and look later, and everybody else can probably see comments as they pop up. So I would really love to know if you resonate with this idea of not having enough time. So please use the comments, emojis, whatever, as we can interact. So when you feel like you don't have enough time, this causes you to rush through your day. You're under constant pressure, believing that you should be doing more to get things done. Do you give yourself time for the following activities? To practice your instrument? To play the music you love just for fun? To engage in self-care, including time to meditate, exercise, sleep, and eat well? To be with friends and family and nurture other relationships? To care for your environment, including your instruments, your home, garden, car, etc. To indulge in recreation, travel, hobbies, play, and other creative pursuits. To undertake personal development and study. By the way, if you often feel like you don't have enough time for yourself, then bravo to you for being here right now and for making the time to read this book. This book will encourage you to prioritize the things that are most important to you and to become more efficient, saving you lots of time in the long run. If you take the ideas in this book to heart and start applying them, you'll soon begin to realize that there's really only one thing that you need to do that really matters, which will make it easier to achieve all of your goals. And that one thing is to bring greater conscious awareness to what you're doing with your whole self from moment to moment. When you start reclaiming your self-worth by putting the focus back on who you are over what you're achieving, meaningless time and energy suckers start to fall away. Then your life naturally becomes balanced over time. You'll also learn how to get much more done in less time, giving you back tons of energy for important things that had been falling by the wayside. Just imagine, what if you could develop a whole new, loving relationship with time itself? What if time were your friend, instead of a slave driver constantly breathing down your neck? The paradox about time is that the more you feel strapped for it, the more you need to slow down to expand it. In my classes, I like to say, slow down to speed up. This advice can be hard to follow if you're addicted to doing things quickly, but in daily life as well as in learning music, it's really efficient. It works. And I think I'm going to stop here because the chapter goes on a bit longer with enjoying the process, more questions about checking in with yourself, really taking an inventory of what's going on and how you react to external and internal environments, and how your reactions influence the quality of your music. And then the chapter ends with Stephanie's story, which is a great story, but I'm going to leave it for now. So before you go, just a quick reminder, this is the book reading and review marathon. So I read and you review. That's how it works, right? Again, if you don't have a free PDF review copy of the book and you want the whole book, I'll send it to you very happily in exchange for your commitment to taking just 5 minutes to hop over to Amazon and leave a review. Obviously, leave an honest review, unbiased, just whatever you feel about the types of things that I'm reading out loud here, what you find in the book. You don't have to read the whole book to leave a review. In fact, you can even read just the 2-page summary that I have put together for you of the book. You can ask me for that. I'm going to send that to you along with the PDF of the whole book if you want that. So don't feel pressured. This is the holiday season. I know people are super busy, and the last thing you want to do is read a book and write a review about it. That's why I'm reminding you that you don't actually have to read the whole book. You might actually get sucked in and love reading the whole book. I've had people tell me it's a page turner and that it's a very easy read. Even though it's 335 pages long, it actually flies by. There are lots of stories. It's easy to read. But you don't have to read the whole thing. And leaving a review, the review does not have to be a long intellectual paper on the book. I mean, even just a few words counts. So a short review counts just as much as a long review. I would be incredibly grateful. It's very, very important for the success of this book, Long Range, to bring in as many reviews as possible. So I'm really counting on you all, each of you, to help me out with this if you like the book. To just use a few minutes of your time. Even right now, since you're watching, you might have 5 extra minutes to do this. I'd be so grateful for anything that you can put over there. If you are not in the United States, just use your local Amazon website. You can just look up the title of the book, Make Great Music with Ease. The secret to, that's probably enough, Make Great Music with Ease, and then my name, Jennifer Roig-Francolí, and it should pop up. And you can review it right from the purchase page. The paperback is available for purchase, but truly I'm not telling people about it yet, except people like you in my circle. I'm not advertising this until the public launch on January 7th. So please don't post on social media, even if you're really excited about the book. Wait until January 7th, and then I will be so grateful if you tell the world along with me. Your support in telling people about the book is going to be really, really helpful. And if you want to buy the book, that'd be great too, but there's no obligation. The best time to help the success of the book, if you want to buy it, is January 7th. The more people buy on the same day, the closer it gets to bestseller status. So if you want to help support it in that way, that would be great too. Or like if you have students and you want to buy the book for your students or family members, or a lot of people have told me that the book is useful not just for musicians, but it's like a manual for life. So you might want to give it to someone else too. So again, January 7th is the best day to buy, but you can buy it anytime, of course. The ebook and the ebook and the hardcover are coming out on January 7th. The audiobook is going to take a little longer. I still need to record that, and it's going to take me a while. That's my end of winter spring project. So you can get on the waiting list for that. Oh, and last but not least, there are a lot of free materials that come with the book. So make sure, whether you have the free PDF version or the actual paperback, go to, there are these 2 pages here where you can actually get on the waiting list for the audiobook. You can get it for free. And there's a video training, 4-part training, where I teach you some of the basics, the techniques that are in the book. And yeah, it will be delivered to your mailbox. It's free. It's really useful to have that in addition to reading the book. So, ask me for the free PDF in exchange for a review, and you can have all of that for free. So thank you so much for being here. I'll be back in another few days to read some more. And I hope this is inspiring and useful today. I was reading a section that was maybe a little more geared towards professionals, but truly just about everything is applicable to everybody. So I hope you realize that, and hope you find it personally inspiring and encouraging. Thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great weekend. And now go over to Amazon if you haven't posted your review yet. Just take a few minutes. And if you already did it, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And let me know once you've done it, and then I'll take you off of my list if you're on my email list, and I'll stop bugging you. All right, be well. Lots of love. Bye.